Okay, so we're here doing review part 2 on the FGX XR8. I've got Owen, the owner, here with me, and as we said at the time of the initial review, we'll do a post-mod review. So since the initial review, the car's underwent a bit of a transformation. It's received the Tekno Stage 1 performance upgrade, which is a dyno tune and an XCal 10 hand controller with 3 different modes in it. It's got a valet mode, which limits the performance of the vehicle down to a little brother or snail's type pace if you drop it into somewhere to get some work done or anything like that. It's got the standard tune that you can select on it, and it's also got the custom performance tune, which is lives on it and is on it at the moment. So it's also been lowered. It's got some custom stripes on it, which we'll have a bit more of a look at, and it's got a twin 2.5-inch cat back. So Owen, performance-wise with the car, have you noticed much of a difference since the upgrade?
Oh yeah, it's made a hell of a difference. There's a time card on the windscreen which we'll show you guys in a minute. It's dropped quite a bit of time off it. Runs mid 12.5s on a really hot night. But
wow,
yeah,
that's impressive.
It was very, very noticeable as soon as I got, first of all, the Stage 1 kit done at Tekno, and then secondly, it made a difference. You could actually feel the difference when I got the cat back done it as well. That was like a couple of weeks later. Okay,
so you had an opportunity to get used to the car again after the performance tune, and noticed an improvement again with the cat back.
Yeah, definitely.
I must say I did as well when I was in it, soon as, because I drove it, as you know, not long after the cat back was installed, and just seemed to work very well with the tune. Opened it up, made it more responsive and more power right through the rev range, and yeah, made the other mods sort of really come on song for it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Yeah, no, it was good, and sounds good too. They've put some big tips on it, some 3.5-inch tips, which we'll have a bit of a look at when we go for a walk around the car as well. And that, I think, makes the car look as it should have done from the rear when it came out of the factory. The big 3.5-inch tips really complement it, and some custom stripes, which we'll have a look at. So we'll just have a look at the tips first. As you can see, fitting of a performance car such as this looks really good, and we'll have a bit of a look under the car at the exhaust that Mild to Wild put on it as well. And the stripes, they've really got me intrigued and look fantastic. I suppose very similar to the GT stripes, but custom. I haven't seen the Coyote ones before. And Owen, the 465, that refers to
The kilowatts on the flywheel now.
Kilowatts on the flywheel. Okay, so big improvement really over the standard 335 of the Boss motor, the 5-litre Boss motor. For not too much really when you consider it's just a tune and a cat back, and a cold air or a different pod, a K&N pod. Which we'll have a look at when we pop the hood. But the font and the Coyote obviously refers to the new 5-litre Ford Coyote Boss motors. So the font looks like it really fits in, like a Ford type of font. Where did you get the stripes made?
A place in Moss Street at Slacks Creek. He's been doing it for many years. Specialises in it. He took a photo of the car. I gave him a bit of an outline on what I wanted. He emailed me back in a couple of hours how it was going to look. Spot on. It's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, it looks great.
Fairly, and the font is actually the Ford font, so it matches. It should match the Boss. Yeah. And the GT fonting.
Yeah, well, it does look like it does, and unique as well, because I haven't seen any Coyote based decals, and the bonnet decals as well really enhance the height, I suppose, of that front air dam on the front bonnet. You don't notice it so much without the stripes, unless you're sitting in the car. which you really notice then, because it does stick up a long way. But with the stripes on it, really brings it out and accentuates it, which is pretty cool. I think the custom stripes have definitely made a great improvement and a great feature to the aesthetics of the car. I suppose you'd be pretty stoked with that, and you wouldn't ever probably see one around unless someone else wants to do something similar.
Yeah, well, that was the whole idea of it. I wanted it to stand out a little bit, particularly with Ford bringing out the Sprinter.
Yeah.
Sprint.
Yep.
I felt a bit ripped off that I was off at the last car and we're actually not getting the last car.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I just wanted mine to stand out a little bit and be a little bit different, and I think it's achieved that.
Yeah, well, and I think the Sprint's only an extra 10 kilowatts, whereas
That's all it is,
yeah, this is 465, which is an extra 135. I know what I'd probably prefer to be driving all day. So yeah, the stripes I think were a big improvement. We'll go for a ride in the car as well. Listen to the sound of the exhaust and compare that to the initial review as well. But yeah, big difference in performance. Dropping 0.6 of a second off the standing quarter mile time, and I think there's probably room there for a little more improvement as well. That was just the first run after the upgrades.
It was a hot night too.
It was very hot. I think everyone struggled on that night because of the heat. I think 26 degrees on the time cards, and actually I see a time card just under there. Yeah, that's the one. 12:57 at 113 mile an hour. 60 foot time, 1.96. This was number 650. And temperature you can't quite see. 28 degrees. 28. So it was a quick car before. She's lightning fast now. Let's take a look and a listen. Okay, so you can see the aftermarket springs there, King springs, and the exhaust, which is a 2.5 inch cut back. So it's a big muffler. There. Comes out there and breaks into two. So standard on these things, I've got a little resonator on one side and a big rear muffler on the other, but this now has just got two small resonators on each side that you can see there, coming into twin 3.5 inch tips, which looks and sounds really good. Yeah, that sounds darn good. Alright, so you don't really notice much difference under the bonnet from the upgrade, except for the K&N pod filter, which obviously flows more, and they put that on before the tune. But still looks very similar to how it did. Sounds a bit different. And yeah, she sucks a fair bit of air in. We'll have a bit of a listen from the back as well. That's horny. Really cool. Sounds great. A bit louder than stock as well. These things are pretty quiet, but yeah, it gives us it's got a bit of a slightly different note to when it was factory as well. Really nice. You can tell there's something special sitting underneath the hood when you hear that go past you. Yeah. So with the suspension, Owen, have you noticed much of a difference in handling or comfort?
Yeah, it's made a big difference. It's a lot more stable on the roads, a lot firmer.
Yep.
And sort of just sits that nicer, a little bit nicer on the road
Yeah,
than what it did. I thought it'd be hard to beat the standard suspension, but it actually has,
yeah, yeah.
which sort of surprised me a little bit.
And how far did you lower it?
30 mil.
30 mil, yeah.
Yeah.
Because So yeah, I've noticed that you put some personalised plates on it as well, which is pretty cool numbers, or XRB, which obviously looks like XR8. The slimline, gold and black, suits it. Looks good. The 435. What's the go with the 435?
Yeah, lesson learnt. I got the plates made before I finished tinkering with the engine, so I couldn't change them to 465, unfortunately. But
Yep.
I can live with it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I know you guys are all right for detail out there, as you've picked up on a few things like 5.4, which I read over an old spec.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll just be a correction for all you
Yeah.
players.
Yep. No, fair enough. So it was 435 before the cat back. So that was a nice little gain as well. But yeah, beautiful car, and it's really finished now, isn't it? And unique, personalised, and something that any V8 lover would be proud of. I'd think, no matter what your preferences are. Beautiful car to drive, and looks great. So it's a credit to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, Dunk.
Cheers.